welcome to Moss Lane for this Conference League game between Altrincham and Crawley Town. Crawley Town, a team with off-the-field woes, they'll be hoping to put all that behind them today and get the action on the field of play, whilst Altrincham, fresh from a good performance, although a defeat at York City, will have high hopes today of taking all 3 points. The Altrincham line-up is as follows: in goal, number 1, Stuart Coburn; the back 4, number 2, Steve Aspinall; number 17, Carl Monroe; number 20, Stephen Rose; number 11, Warren Payton; midfield of number 7, Robbie Lawton; number 6, the captain, Steve Bushell; number 8, Val Owen; number 14, Lewis Chalmers; and up front for Altrincham today, number 9, Colin Little; and number 12, Joe O'Neill. Crawley Town line-up: number 1, Ben Hamer; 2, Ben Judge, the captain; 4, Scott Hiley; 6, Gary Mills; 7, Michael Boswick; 8, Lee Blackburn; 11, Tony Scully; 14, Ryan Peters; 16, Scott Rendell; 11, Danny Bullman; and 21, David Woolsey. Off we go, and Crawley Town, the visitors, kick off. Steve Aspinall with an early clearance, and Scott Hiley finds himself in possession. Chalmers for Altrincham knocks it inside to Colin Little, but he can't get hold of that one. Hiley now for Crawley. Hiley looks for the run of Bullman, but it's Peters that's got hold of that one. Back to Bullman. Aspinall wins the possession. Hiley. It's Peters. Val Owen with the handball there. It's Lee Blackburn with the kick. The referee having a look at the match ball. An early replacement for the ball. So it's going to be Lee Blackburn to take this free kick for Crawley. Drives into the box. Coburn with the punch away. Picked up by Bullman. Out to Peters. Early touch on the ball for Stuart Coburn, and throws out to Warren Payton. Colin Little now for Altrincham, support from Chalmers. Chalmers tries to find O'Neill inside, but in the end nothing comes of that one. Clearance made by Danny Bullman. Peters trying to get on the end of it, but robbed by Stephen Rose. Rose under pressure. And not a good clearance from Stuart Coburn now. It's Peters. Peters in turn robbed. Warren Payton for Altrincham makes the clearance. Now Chalmers looks for Robbie Lawton, his captain. Oh, his ex-captain. It's now Steve Bushell today. Apologies to Steve Bushell. Steve Aspinall in possession. Comfortable to Ben Hamer to take. Ben Hamer on loan from Reading FC, the Premiership team. Signed for them from their academy team during the summer, and they've sent him out to Crawley for the season to get some match experience. High hopes for him of developing into a first-rate keeper. Up goes Rendell. Aspinall with the clearance. And two Crawley players getting involved there. Woolsey in the end makes the clearance. Little for Altrincham. To Chalmers. Back to Bushell. To Little. To Bushell. Now Chalmers on the break. Well tackled by Boswick. And back to his keeper to make the clearance. Peters now for Crawley. Vallow in again, caught with an unlucky bounce. It's the second time he's had handball given against him, but sometimes it's more what the ball does than the player. Nonetheless, a free kick to Crawley. Gary Mills, former Ruston and Diamonds midfielder, looks to shape up with this one. Is he going to leave it? He is. And it's going to be Ben Judge to take the kick. Judge looking for Woolsey. And Robbie Lawton and Woolsey in a little tussle for that one, which the referee benefits the Altrincham player. So Stuart Coburn looking into a sun which is could be quite a problem from the crosses from the right wing today. Up goes Lawton, wins the header. Colin Little with the flick on, but Joe O'Neill not in any kind of shape to get that one. Payton's the first to that one and the first to it again. Wins possession well for Altrincham. Looks for the run of Colin Little. Little holds it up, finds Vallow in support. And the clearance made by Michael Boswick in the end, relieving the pressure up the middle of the Crawley Town defence. Chalmers over for his customary long throw. Into the box, Joe O'Neill gets onto it for Altrincham and look to spin for a shot, and then had second thoughts to look for Colin Little, and in the end Ben Hamer was happy to take possession and relieve the pressure. Hamer with the kick. Looks for Rendell. Rose in attendance, and Rose penalised there with the referee in close watch. Tony Scully, the former Notts County and Manchester City winger, with this one. Altrincham will have to look out for his pace today, can cause quite a few problems wide. Scully with the kick. Comfortable for Coburn, but Ryan Peters was in there should Coburn not make the catch. Stuart Coburn with the clearance. Joe O'Neill makes ground for that one, but doesn't get it. Vallow in for Altrincham, now to Robbie Lawton. Back to Bushell. Bushell looks for Colin Little, almost found him, well cut out by Ben Judge. And Payton and Scully in a tussle. And Scully penalised that for the little nudge. Payton with the kick, finds Little, not able to do anything with that one. And Carl Munro gets a touch and finds Steve Aspinall. Aspinall finds Chalmers. Lewis Chalmers confirmed this week as in the final squad for the England national Game 11 match against Holland at Burton on November the 29th. Congratulations, Lewis Chalmers, on that recognition. Once again, it's Tony Scully shaping up to take this cross. Free kick for Crawley Town. Waiting for his centre-back to get up there. Boswick, number 7, on the edge of the box. Woolsley is on the edge of the box as well. And in the end, it's Rendell that makes the header. That will not create any problems for Stuart Coburn if that's all he has to deal with all afternoon. So Stuart Coburn to restart with the kick. Up goes O'Neill. Woolsey wins the header. Payton picks up the loose ball and can't find Lewis Chalmers, and in the end it finds its way back to Stuart Coburn. Joe O'Neill going up for that one, and this time wins it. Colin Little. A judge to have handled that, but he was given the shove from behind that the referee seemed to ignore. Crawley quickly take the kick. Bushell wins possession off Tony Scully. And Chalmers with the long throw up the line. Looks for the run of Joe O'Neill. O'Neill chests it down well, finds Colin Little. Little's got Robbie Lawton on the right, but couldn't find him with that one, and Hiley it is that makes the clearance. Scully now picks up the loose ball for Crawley. Well hustled by Payton. Ben Judge, the skipper of Crawley Town and the longest serving player, takes the throw in. Last season's player of the year at Crawley. Colin Little now, back to Robbie Lawton. Robbie Lawton going wide, he's got Judge in attendance. Goes past Ben Judge, looks to cross into the middle and does do. Colin Little couldn't keep that one down, but a good move from Altrincham. Ben Hamer with the kick. Up goes Rose, but he's beaten to that one by Rendell, but Monroe picks up the loose ball. Chalmers with the throw. This time it's a long throwing crossfield to Aspinall. Aspinall going forward, finds Robbie Lawton on the right. Robbie Lawton with Scott Hiley coming to close him down, but Lawton gets the cross in. Joe O'Neill tries to get in there and couldn't get a touch on it. Scully now for Crawley Town. Payton closing down well. Gives a throw-in away, but he's keeping a close watch on Tony Scully already this afternoon. Ben Judge now with the throw for Crawley. Looks up the line, tries to find Rendell. Rendell it is with the flick on. In turn tries to find Peters. Peters for Crawley Town on loan from Brentford. And this is his first appearance for Crawley today. Throw into Crawley. Ben Judge again moves further up the line to take the throw. Scully back to Judge. Aspinall with the headed clearance. O'Neill for Altrincham. To Bushell. Bushell tries to find Colin Little and does do, despite the appeal for offside. And Little with a underweighted pass there to Lawton and easily cut out by Scott Hiley. Blackburn now looks for the run of Ryan Peters. And Carl Monroe shepherds that one deep into his own half, and in the end allows it to run out for a goal kick. Just on the 15-minute mark now. And the game so far goalless and fairly inconspicuous as regards chances at goals so far. Up goes Joe O'Neill. Wins the header. Chalmers tries to find Little, but Colin was a bit flat-footed on that one. Benhamer now in possession for Crawley. Waving Scott Randall in up front and looks for the long kick and looks to find Scott Randall. He's pushing Carl Munro in the back and a free kick for Altrincham. So Steve Aspinall this time to take the kick from the right position according to the referee. Drives one into the edge of the area. O'Neill tries to pick up that one, but in the end it's Woolsey with the clearance. Well headed by Stephen Rose. Up goes O'Neill and pressured from the back by Boswick, and that's a more straightforward free kick for the referee to give. Colin Little tries the quick one, but probably to Altringham's benefit there, the referee ordering a restart. And the referee at the moment mystifying everybody here. He's now given a free kick to Crawley Town. On all indications, I think a lot of the Crawley players thought it was a free kick to Altrincham as well, but no. So we'll restart with a free kick to Crawley now with Benhamer. Hamer with the kick. Up goes Rose and wins the header well. Judge tries to return it but didn't get hold of that one properly. Payton with the high ball that finds touch. Randall with a header. This time the game not getting into any rhythm at the moment due to the stop-start all the time, but let's hope a flow can develop to it sooner rather than later. Blackburn with that winning possession, but he's found a colleague, but more by chance than good pass, I think. Tony Scully now takes the throw for Crawley Town. Or will he leave it to Ben Judge, who's jogging up the line? Yes. Judge to Scully, and Judge with the cross into the middle. Up goes Peters, wins the header but couldn't get any power on it. So Stuart Coburn with the goal kick for Altrincham. Looks to find O'Neill, but in the end it's a header by Danny Bullman. Bullman again for Crawley. That's easy for Blackburn to win, but he can't do anything with his header, and it'll go for a throw to Altrincham. And Aspinall with the throw to Robbie Lawton. Back to Carl Munro. Carl Munro tries to feed it through, but Vallowing picked that loose ball up now, finds Steve Bushell to Payton. To Rose. Rose looking for the run of Joe O'Neill, but can't find him. But quite a stiff breeze blowing against Altrincham this half. With Peters in possession for Crawley, finds Tony Scully. Judge with the throw for Crawley. And Colin Little can't keep that one in, so it'll be another throw in on that far touchline. Judge with the throw for Crawley to Scully. Back to Gary Mills. Mills in turn finds Randall. Aspinall with the miscue, and it's Lee Blackburn now. Steve Aspinall managed to block that one at the expense of a corner. But half a chance there for Crawley to take advantage of that miscontrol by Steve Aspinall. Tony Scully coming across to take this corner for Crawley Town. Got Ben Judge on the near post, Scott Randall on the near post. Just on the penalty spot, the two centre-backs, number 7 Boswick and 26 Wolseley. In the end it's Robbie Lawton with the header, but eventually the ball fell to Colin Little, who managed to get the half a clearance in, and the ball picked up now by Steve Bushell. Warren Payton making a good break for Altrincham. It's Hiley that's gone across. Rose for Altrincham. Chalmers to Bushell. Payton to Chalmers. Chalmers, Vallowing picks up for Altrincham. Vallowing now with the ball. Looks to find Chalmers on the left and does do. Can Chalmers get his crossing? Instead finds Little on the edge of the area. Now finds Vallowing. Vallowing with the shot. So a move at last that results in a positive effort at goal. And although it didn't force a save from the Crawley keeper, it might do next time. Ben Hamer now to restart. Gary Mills with the flick on to Peters. Peters tries to hold it up but can't get hold of possession. And Gary Mills picks up the loose ball for Crawley. Feeds it forward again. Headed into touch by Stephen Rose. Judge for Crawley. Blackburn now on the right wing. Switch wings with Tony Scully. Peters tries to find Blackburn. Blackburn with the cross. Aspinall with the header. Scully was coming in behind him. Steve Aspinall now can't get anything accurate with his clearance, but will be happy just to clear his lines on that occasion. Scott Hiley with the throw. Back to Wolseley. Wolseley easy for Joe O'Neill to intercept there, and tries to find Robbie Lawton with a forward run. And that one cut out by Gary Mills. Hamer feeds the ball forward. Up goes Vallowing, wins the header, but Gary Mills picks up the loose ball and in turn feeds out to Tony Scully. Now it's Scully. Goes past Steve Aspinall. Tony Scully. Monroe's the covering defender. And Steve Bushell puts the loose ball up to Joe O'Neill. Wolseley in to win possession and tries to find Ryan Peters, but Colburn's off his line quickly for that one. Bushell looks to go up for that one with Mills, and Robbie Lawton picked up the loose ball resulting from it. Aspinall now for Altrincham to Steve Bushell. To Little. Colin Little. Tried to find Steve Bushell again, but couldn't quite. Now Scott Hiley with the ball. Scott Hiley looks to find his striker Ryan Peters, but in the end only found touch. Vastly experienced defender Scott Hiley. Played for several league clubs: Birmingham, Manchester City, Southampton, Portsmouth. Moved on to Exeter and appeared for Exeter in their cup campaign against Manchester United a couple of seasons ago. So certainly a man that's been around the league scene. Normally a right full-back, but pressed into duties at left-back and looks equally at home in that position. Free kick now for Crawley. Scott Rendell can't get anything on that one, and Cal Monroe happy to let that one run out for a goal kick. Stuart Coburn with the kick for Altrincham. Joe O'Neill going up with Wolseley. Wolseley wins the header. Blackburn with the header on. Now it's Peters. Gets hold of the ball and finds Blackburn. Blackburn to Rendell. Back to Blackburn. Good tackle from Stephen Rose. The ball could have gone anywhere, but in the end it went into the safe hands of Stuart Coburn. An offside there given against Ryan Peters. Chalmers for Altrincham. Inside to Bushell, but he's not accurate with his pass. Now Steve Bushell for Altrincham tries to win possession. Didn't quite do it. In the end, Vallowen's got hold of it now. And in turn, Vallowen loses possession, and Scully's free on the left. Tony Scully now. Cal Monroe comes across, but it's Scully with the cross into the 6-yard box. And Stephen Rose got a touch on that, which prevented Ryan Peters from having a virtually open goal. Chalmers now for Altrincham. Looks for the run of Joe O'Neill. Joe O'Neill gets on the end of it. Finds Colin Little. Little looking for support on the right. It isn't there, so he's got to go back left. In turn, picks up it again. Colin Little. Now Vallowen's made a run to support, edge of the box. Robbie Lawton tries to get in position to get his shot in, but a good tackle from Gary Mills stopped what could have been an effort on goal. Peters and Vallowen controlling with the help from his back there. And Stephen Rose will take this free kick for Altrincham. Looks for Lewis Chalmers. Ben Judge with the clearance with his head. Steve Bushell picks up the loose ball, tries to find Chalmers again. Payton now for Altrincham. Payton feeds it inside. It's Colin Little looking to shape up to shoot, and does do. Can't get that one on target, but Altrincham beginning to press forward and at least ending up with 1 or 2 shots at the Crawley goal. Signs of better things to come perhaps from Altrincham now as they try to find their rhythm coming up to the half-hour mark. Up goes Payton. Rose with the clearance. Colin Little flicks on. Joe O'Neill tries to get on the end of it but can't meet the ball, and Hiley got there first. Steve Bushell now for Altrincham to Chalmers. Bushell again. Robbie Lawton made a forward run then, but the ball was blocked out. Now Tony Scully for Crawley. He goes wide of Steve Aspinall, tries to look for his cross but can't get it in, and instead feeds back to Hiley. Coburn with the long kick, tries to find Joe O'Neill. Wolseley with the header. Helped out by his other centre-back partner, Boswick. Again, up goes Wolseley, up goes O'Neill. Aspinall for Altrincham. Bushell takes it off his toes, feeds it to Robbie Lawton. Now Lawton for Altrincham. Given offside. Bullman. Hiley. Scully. Inside to Rendell and has it back now. Tony Scully. Even Tony Scully with his pace couldn't get on the end of that one. So it's Aspinall with the throw for Altrincham. He's got Robbie Lawton up the line and Joe O'Neill further up the line. It's Robbie Lawton that makes first touch on it. Lawton again. Colin Little coming in for that one. Can't get hold of it. Scully for Crawley. Rendell feeds out to Blackburn. Blackburn waits for support, and Gary Mills is in attendance, and Lewis Chalmers tracking back to his own goal was adjudged to have pushed Gary Mills, and a free kick awarded in quite a dangerous position for Crawley now. Altrincham will have some defending to do here. Tony Scully going across to take the kick. Lee Blackburn stood over the ball at the moment, but Tony Scully allowing Lee Blackburn to take this kick. And a chip into the far post. Over it comes. Headed away by Carl Munro. Coburn with the kick. Up goes O'Neill. Boswick won that one. Judge in the end feeds back to his keeper. Chalmers with the header. Joe O'Neill not offside. Colin Little was coming back but made no attempt to play the ball. As a result of that, he wasn't able to support Joe O'Neill with a forward run, and now it's Hamer for Crawley. Monroe losing that one in the wind. Payton makes the clearance. Vallowing tries to win possession. Bushell picks up the loose ball. O'Neill to Owen. Owen to Robbie Lawton. Steve Aspinall now. Peters got him something on that one, and a timely tackle from Carl Munro relieves the pressure on that attempted back pass from Steve. Tony Scully finds Scott Hiley. Hiley back to Scully. Scully now with the cross. Munro with the header. Bushell picks up the loose ball but can't get hold of possession. And in the end it's run off Danny Bullman and for a goal kick. Coburn with the kick for Altrincham. Up goes O'Neill, wins the header well. Colin Little feeds back to O'Neill. O'Neill looks to try and find Chalmers, but in the end it's Warren Payton that supports Altrincham on the left. Payton now with the cross. Robbie Lawton coming in on the far post. Vallowing making a run to in possession. Scully gets there first, but Vallowing forces a throw-in off Tony Scully. Well played, Vallowing. Steve Aspinall now for Altrincham. Gets his cross into the area. Bushell was coming in on that one. It's Warren Payton. Payton now for Altrincham. And again impeded by Danny Bullman. And this time it's Altrincham that have a free kick in a dangerous position. The referee wants it taken from the right place. He's not allowing any margin for that today so far. And Warren Payton now for Altrincham. Robbie Lawton also there, Steve Bushell there as well, so the free kick committee deciding who's going to do what. Colin Little jogging back for input as well. So Bushell, Little and Payton. And Colin Little takes the free kick off Steve Bushell, and as they say in all the good commentaries, one that's worked out in training. Didn't pay off on that occasion, but it's nice to see some variety in the free kicks. Van Hamer with the goal kick for Crawley Town. Up goes Owen. Wins the header but can't get any direction on it, and in the end Stephen Rose makes the clearance. Sometimes it's all you can do is just to get up and get a header on the ball. Scott Hiley with the throw. All won by Aspinall. Owen. Robbie Lawton. Tried to find Colin Little. Blackburn picks up the loose ball. Tries to find Peters. Aspinall with the header back to his keeper Coburn. Warren Payton now for Altrincham on the left. That's for Joe O'Neill up front. Up went O'Neill, wins the header, Colin Little. Colin Little now making tracks into the Crawley penalty area, looks for support and finds it with Robbie Lawton. Lawton trying to shape into a position where he can cross it, feeds it back to Payton. Disappointing cross from Warren Payton on that occasion. Chalmers now for Altrincham. Asking a lot there of Robbie Lawton. Up goes Stephen Rose. Carl Munro. Blackburn with a half attempt at a cross or a shot, one of the two, but either way it ends up as a goal kick. Stuart Coburn with the kick. Joe O'Neill tried to win possession, but Wolseley managed to force his way into that one. Aspinall with the pass back to Coburn, and Coburn makes the clearance. Aspinall. Watch for the run of Colin Little. Colin Little, well cleared by Boswick. Bushell for Altrincham. Scully picks up the loose ball, looks for support from Scott Hiley, but Steve Aspinall in to cut that one out before it got to develop. So it's Scott Hiley with the throw for Crawley Town. Scully now picks up the loose ball on the left. Feeds back in to Bullman. Bullman with the cross. Blackburn tries to get on the end of it and does do, but again his shot kept in play by Scully. Aspinall trying to tussle. Ryan Peters with a shot that was blocked by Carl Munro. Now it's Joe O'Neill for Altrincham. Tries to find Robbie Lawton, but Gary Mills in there to win that one. Aspinall. Ben Judge. Aspinall cuts that one out. Try again. This time he tries to find Lewis Chalmers, but again Ben Judge cuts that one out. Vallowin tussling for that one. And in the end it comes back to Vallowin. Colin Little now in possession for Altrincham. Can he get the ball under control? Finds Joe O'Neill. Joe O'Neill looks out left for Warren Payton. Now a chance for Altrincham. Payton with the cross. Blocked by Lee Blackburn at the expense of a corner kick. Altringham's first corner of the game. And Steve Bushell's gone across to take this kick. So corner kick to Altrincham. Little makes a run on the near post. Didn't find anybody on that occasion, but it's Aspinall now for Altrincham again. Feeds back out to the left wing for Steve Bushell. Steve Bushell now with a chance to cross, and does do to the far post. Nobody can get on the end of that one. Robbie Lawton tries to keep it in play, but can't do. So it'll be a throw in to Crawley Town, deep in their own half. Scott Hiley to take this throw in. Altrincham got a further throw in, and this time it'll be Steve Aspinall. Aspinall to Lawton. Aspinall again for Altrincham. Tries to find Chalmers on the left. Up goes Chalmers, wins the header. Colin Little can't get on the end of that one, but it's Payton now for Altrincham. To Chalmers again. Steve Bushell. Chalmers with the header inside to Little. To Valowen. Valowen looks to shoot. Did do, but again, doesn't force Ben Hamer into making a save. Good header inside by Blackburn. Back on the left wing now, and Scully's back on the right. Robbie Lawton for Altrincham, highly closing him down from the back, but Lawton finds O'Neill. O'Neill back to Lawton. Lawton looks for support inside. Keeps running with it. He's got Payton on his left and finds him now. Warren Payton unable to direct that one to a colleague. Gets another chance. Feeds it back to Rose. Stephen Rose with the clearance. Up goes Lewis Chalmers. Wins the header initially, but in the end it's Joe O'Neill that picks up the loose ball. Back to Lewis Chalmers. Chalmers tries to find the run of Warren Payton. Warren Payton wins possession on the edge of the box and shoots. And almost got the chance to put Altrincham 1-0 up there. The height of Ben Hamer, a vital factor in making that save. Up goes Carl Munro, wins the header. Robbie Lawton to Valowen. Valowen can't get hold of that one, and Steve Aspinall does well to keep that one in play. Finds Robbie Lawton on the right. Robbie Lawton looks for Colin Little, cut out by Boswick. It comes back to Lawton. Lawton to Valowen. Valowen looks for the support run of Bushell. Bushell to O'Neill on the edge of the box. Couldn't get it on his right foot for the shot. Randall now picks up the clearance for Crawley. And Coburn off his line to make the clearance. Colin Little. Asked a bit much of Joe O'Neill on that occasion. Up goes Rose, wins the header. Gary Mills wins the other one. Warren Payton now for Altrincham. Joe O'Neill, the willing runner up front. And Boswick happy just to make a clearance there, and under pressure from Joe O'Neill. It's a corner kick to Altrincham. I think Altrincham thought it might be a throw-in at first, but eventually Steve Bushell has jogged across to take this kick. He's got Carl Munro and Joe O'Neill as targets near the penalty spot. Robbie Lawton on the edge of the box, making a run now to the near post. Overcomes the cross. Cleared this time by Scott Rendell. And eventually away by Gary Mills. Lewis Chalmers with the throw for Altrincham. To Steve Bushell. Bushell can't find a colleague up front. Munro for Altrincham. Robbie Lawton putting Scott highly under pressure. And a throw into Crawley Town with Highleaf in possession. He's got Scott Randall up the touchline, but he likes to go short and then make his clearance, which isn't that good a one. Colin Little now for Altrincham, picks up the loose ball, feeds inside to Joe O'Neill. Well cut out by Michael Boswick at the expense of a throw-in. Quickly taken. Not taken. Robbie Lawton with the ball. Is he going to leave it for Steve Aspinall? Yes. And another throw into Altrincham. Steve Aspinall to try again. Only one player within throwing distance here at the moment, and then Vallowing makes himself available. And again, another handball decision goes against Vallowing. So we fast approach half-time. The fourth official about to indicate how much has been added on for stoppages, and it's 1 minute of play that's being added on. And Altrincham get a free kick. Could they snatch an important lead to go in at half-time in this last minute of play? Steve Aspinall over the ball for Altrincham, but Steve Bushell tried to take a quick one. Scott Randall not getting back the 10 yards, and that will probably earn him a yellow card from the referee. And indeed a yellow card issued to Scott Randall for not getting 10 yards back from that free kick. It's still not 10 yards now. So Steve Aspinall eventually gets a clear path to cross the ball into the far post area. Lewis Chalmers with the header. Ryan Peters tries to make the clearance, but Vallowing picks up the loose ball. It's Vallowing for Altrincham. Peters nudges it into touch. Throw into Altrincham on this right side. Robbie Lawton. Steve Bushell. Back to Robbie Lawton. Lawton going one way, going the other way, trying to shape up for a cross, but couldn't get anything there with Lee Blackburn in close attendance. And in the end, it's Stephen Rose who marshals that one back to his keeper, Stuart Coburn. Altrincham not out of the woods yet, but the half-time whistle blows. And a fairly lacklustre first half, it has to be said, in this league game today, with a half-time score: Altrincham 0, Crawley Town 0. So here we are, all set for the start of the second half. Let's hope that both managers have had a word with the players and decided that they'll get some action into this second half perhaps. And it's Altrincham to kick off. Away we go. Stephen Rose for Altrincham. Blackburn looking for support and finds it with Ryan Peters. Peters now holding the ball up. Payton back to rob him of that ball. Blackburn with the cross. Scully coming in wide on the left. Aspinall got the vital touch on that one. And Scott Hiley for Crawley. Finds Peters. Peters tried to find Scully, but he'd moved inside. Now it's Aspinall for Altrincham. Rather hurried into that clearance. Payton now for Altrincham. To Chalmers. Chalmers upended by Ben Judge. And Stephen Rose will take this free kick for Altrincham, looks for the run of Robbie Lawton. But again, that one runs out for a goal kick. Up goes Chalmers, wins the header. Ben Judge with the clearance. Looks for the run of Ryan Peters, well cut out by Carl Munro, and it's Rose for Altrincham. Clearance blocked off by Randall, who keeps the ball in deep in the Altrincham half, but in the end can't keep the ball in play, and it's going to be a goal kick. Stuart Colburn with the kick. Up goes George, wins the header well. Robbie Lawton back to Steve Aspinall. Aspinall again under pressure. Can't get his clearance away. Scully picks up the loose ball. Finds Peters. Peters has got Hiley up on the left supporting, and over comes the cross, and a vital touch from Warren Payton there to block off Lee Blackburn. It's Woolsey. High ball into the edge of the Altrincham area. Comes to nothing, and in the end the clearance is made by Altrincham defender, and it's a throw-in taken by Judge. Judge finds Blackburn on the right-hand side. Opportunity to cross, and does do, feeds into Peters, and that's a goal! So 3 minutes into the second half, and Crawley Town it is, the visitors that take the lead. So it's Bushell for Altrincham. Steve Aspinall. Aspinall again, looks for Lewis Chalmers on the left and finds him. Chalmers now for Altrincham, looking to hit back for Altrincham, and does do. And Lewis Chalmers has equalised. That's the perfect answer. So 3 minutes into the second half, it's 1-0 to Crawley. 4 minutes into the second half, it's 1-0. Lewis Chalmers the scorer. And we're back where we started the second half, all square. Warren Payton's gone down with an injury. In comes Altrincham physio Andy Osgood. Let's have a look at this one. So after that brief period of injury to Warren Payton, who's just left the field of play, it's Crawley to restart, and Payton's back on the field with us. And Altrincham all square again, 1-1. Peters now for Crawley, back to Scully, Scully back to Hiley. Hiley coming forward, finds Scully, Scully in turn tries to find Danny Bullman. In the end he can't make anything of it, and Altrincham clear. Ben Judge now knocks it back to his keeper, and Woolsey in turn gets possession to make the clearance. Up goes Aspinall, wins the header well. Joe O'Neill finds Colin Little. Colin Little trying to find Lewis Chalmers, but that time it's cut out by Judge and cleared by Hamer. Flick on from Rendell, cleared by Rose. Robbie Lawton, Colin Little, Joe O'Neill. Gary Mills getting in there and winning the free kick. Ben Hamer coming out of his goal to take this one. Looks to find Ryan Peters. He does do. Peters with the header on. Cleared by Carl Monroe. Scott Hiley with the throw for Crawley. To Bullman, back to Hiley. And to Woolsey. Hiley, robbed by Robbie Lawton. Robbie Lawton now on the break. He's got Chalmers wide on the left, but can't shape up to switch the play in time. And it's Hiley that wins the ball and feeds out to Scully. Scully in turn looks for Ryan Peters. Colburn makes the clearance. Bushell tries to pick that one up, but Bullman's in quickly to feed out to Scully. Tony Scully now using his pace to get wide on the left, chips into the penalty area. And Bullman with the kick that's blocked by Altrincham now. Bushell, Payton feeds out to Chalmers. Bushell takes it off his toes and in turn gives it to Chalmers, and Altrincham can build from the left. Ben Judge cuts that one out at the expense of a throw-in. So Altrincham up on the left side. Payton back to Chalmers. Lewis Chalmers now. Feeds to Colin Little. To Joe O'Neill. Joe O'Neill turns and looks to shape up to shoot. O'Neill with the shot. And Hamer's down on that one early enough. And both of those goals have injected a little bit more of a pace to the game, so let's hope that that can keep going. Chalmers with the header. It'll be Ben Judge with this throw for Crawley Town. Payton with the header. Judge with the clearance. And that's found touch in the opposing half, so it'll this time be a throw into Altrincham. Lewis Chalmers will jog back to take this one. Takes the long one, tries to find Colin Little. Judge makes initial contact. And Payton wins the throw in off Lee Blackburn. Lewis Chalmers again with the long throw. Steve Bushell looks to pick up the loose ball, and in turn Scully nips in and robs off Steve Aspinall, but Coleman Road made the clearance. It's Aspinall now, robbed again by Tony Scully. Tony Scully getting a free kick from that challenge by Colin Little. And David Woolsey feeds out to Scott Hiley. Hiley comes inside. Looks for Ryan Peters up on the left and finds him. Ryan Peters now. Back to Scully. Scully inside, tried to find Peters, but on that occasion couldn't find his man. Bosworth across to put that one into touch, and a throw into Altrincham. That's Colin Little. Tries to find Robbie Lawton, eventually does do. Colin Little in possession again, turns and it's time to run and almost shaped up for a shot. Decided to try and find Vallowin, but couldn't get his accurate pass on that occasion. Both Vallowin and Robbie Lawton making supporting runs for Altrincham today. Now it's Peters for Crawley. Blackburn with the cross. Danny Bowman tried to pick up the loose ball and almost got through on the edge of the Altrincham area. It's Chalmers with the overhead clearance. Ben Judge will take this throw in for Crawley. Looks for Scott Rendell, finds him with the head, but Scott Rendell unable to get any accuracy on it, but in the end it's Gary Mills that got the loose ball and fed into welcoming arms of Stuart Coburn. Joe O'Neill now for Altrincham. Back to Steve Bushell. Bushell to Little. Little lays it off to O'Neill. O'Neill looks for support on the left. Easily cut out by Lee Blackburn on that occasion. It's Stephen Rose for Altrincham with the header back to his keeper. Warren Payton now for Altrincham. Closed down by Blackburn. Payton to Bushell. Bushell back to Payton. Again, Payton closed down again, but gets his clearance away. Stephen Rose now looks to win this one and does do. Well picked out by Gary Mills. That's Mills in possession for Crawley. Loses the ball. Payton's got possession and wins the free kick. Stuart Coburn with the kick. Looks to find Lewis Chalmers, but Ben Judge is there to head away. Vallowing picks up the loose ball to Payton. Cleared by Gary Mills. Up goes Carl Monroe to win the header, and Steve Aspinall to win the resulting loose ball. Aspinall now for Altrincham. Tries to find the run of Joe O'Neill. He's got David Woolsey in close attendance. Joe O'Neill puts Woolsey under pressure. And in the end, a bit too much pressure for the referee's liking, and it's a free kick to Crawley. Free kick taken by Hamer. Up goes Monroe, wins the initial header. Vallowing wins the second one. That's Payton. Tries to find Colin Little, but easily blocked out by Blackburn, and Rose with work to do there to stop the challenge of Ryan Peters. Ben Judge with the throw-in to Gary Mills, back to Judge. Michael Bosworth feeds the ball forward, and Payton makes the clearance. Up goes Gary Mills, wins the header. Blackburn now tries to pick up that loose ball and wins the throw-in off the toe of Warren Payton. Peters for Crawley, cleared by Rose. Gary Mills picks up the loose ball, looks left, blocked by Vallowing before he could get his pass away. Lewis Chalmers now for Altrincham, tries to make progress up this left side. O'Neill back to Chalmers. Chalmers to Colin Little. Colin Little tries to turn on it. Lee Blackburn with the long ball upfield, and Ryan Peters doing a good run to try and get on the end of that, and in the end his persistence paid off because Carl Monroe has to give a throw-in away. Lee Blackburn jogging up on this right-hand touchline to take the throw. To Peters, back to Blackburn, back to Judge. Judge with an opportunity to feed it into the Altrincham area, but it's cut out easily by Rose. That ball will stay in play. It's Boswick. Bushell picks up the ball and feeds to Vallowing. Vallowing under close pressure, but manages to get his pass out to Robbie Lawton. And once again, the referee wants to have a look at the ball. And asking for a replacement ball. So Ben Hamer will restart now with this goal kick. Up goes Scott Rendell. Wins the header, but rolls with the clearance. Up goes Chalmers with Rendell. Bushell picks up the loose ball and Rendell blocks that one. Judge with the header. Bushell. Judge cut that one out and Blackburn picks up the loose ball and feeds it across field. Aspinall just getting on the end of that one in time. And Scott Hiley just heads it into touch. That's all he could do with that one. Steve Aspinall goes across to take this throw in for Altrincham. Owen tries to find O'Neill. Joe O'Neill with the ball for Altrincham. Feeds back to Aspinall. Aspinall under pressure from Scott Rendell, but keeps possession and gets his cross in. Judge with the clearance. Carl Munro now for Altrincham. Looks for Joe O'Neill. Well headed out by David Woolsey. To Scully. Scully finds Ryan Peters. Peters robbed by Val Owen. Finds Colin Little. And in the end, Ryan Peters tackles back and gives a throw-in away. Steve Aspinall. And a foul throw there, and Steve Aspinall in two minds whether to throw to Lewis Chalmers or let Lewis take the throw, and in the end he foul throw. Scott Hiley for Crawley. Judge with the header back to his keeper. Well won by Peyton. Now it's Robbie Lawton for this with the ball for Altrincham. Tries to find the run of Colin Little, but again the pass is cut out. Now it's Tony Scully running at Aspinall, using his speed, using his acceleration. Gets his crossing from the left. It's Peters again on the near post area. Stuart Colburn restarts the game. Joe O'Neill with the flick on. That's Colin Little. Colin Little feeds out to Lewis Chalmers. Chalmers crosses into the area. Well taken by Ben Hamer. Warren Peyton put himself under a bit of undue pressure there, allowing that ball to run through, but Stuart Colburn was out to assist him. And in the end, all's well that ends well. Big clearance from Colburn. Joe O'Neill looks to get on the end of it, and with a little bit more effort, could have perhaps got on the end of that one. Still, it's Ben Hamer that got that possession. Val Owen with the header. Rendell. Mills with the miscontrol, but still keeps possession. Can't do anything with it. Now it's Aspinall for Altrincham. Hiley with the throw for Crawley. Robbie Lawton tries to bring it down. In the end, it's Pullman wins the throw-in for Crawley. Scott Hiley to take the throw. Finds Peters. Peters flicks on to Rendell. Rendell looks for support on the right, but can't find Blackburn on that occasion. Gary Mills now for Crawley. Free kick given to Crawley for that challenge on Gary Mills. That's Hiley to Scully. Scully back to Hiley. Hiley will have to come back this way to Judge. Gary Mills with the flick on to Peters, and it's an offside flag that spoils that chance for Peters to do anything if he had it done. So free kick to Altrincham, Stuart Colburn to take. Up goes Wolsey, wins the header. Bushell gets the second ball, feeds it forward, and again, this time it's Joe O'Neill who's offside at the other end. Ben Hamer with the kick. Rendell gets on the end of that one but can't direct a header, and Bushell picks up the loose ball and is given the free kick. Steve Aspinall will take this kick for Altrincham. Aspinall with the kick. Looks for the head of Lewis Chalmers, but Judge is up there before him. Steve Bushell now for Altrincham, feeds inside to Chalmers, another opportunity to strike from Chalmers, and he does do. He's already been successful from that range once this half and fancied his chances again. This time Ben Hamer was equal to it. Hamer with the clearance. Up goes Chalmers and wins the initial header. Payton tries to get on the end of that one, but Blackburn beats him to it, but in the end nothing comes of it for Crawley. It's Chalmers to Little. Little turning into trouble. Blackburn picking up the loose ball, but it runs out to Payton. Now to Chalmers. And Chalmers goes down under the challenge from Lee Blackburn. Bushell to Payton. Payton with the opportunity to cross and does do, but can't get any real direction on that, and Hiley heads clear. Now it's Aspinall for Altrincham. Wolseley with the back header. Hamer throws out to Scully. Altrincham anxious not to let Tony Scully get possession to run at them, and in doing so penalised for a free kick. And Scott Hiley will take, and in fact Scott Hiley will leave to David Wolsey, and David Wolsey will take. Wolsey feeds the ball into the Altrincham area, headed away by Rose. Chalmers wins the loose ball for Altrincham. He's got Payton with a run on the left. Lewis Chalmers now to Colin Little. Colin Little looks for support. Got Aspinall on the right. Feeds it out to him now, and Steve Aspinall now for Altrincham. Again, Steve Aspinall. Robbie Lawton wins the loose ball. Lawton now to Colin Little. Colin Little with an effort from the edge of the box which couldn't keep down. Ben Hamer was happy to see that one sail into the crowd behind the goal. And the first substitution of the game, Colin Little, the Altrincham player, being replaced by number 10, Rod Thornley. And that's after 25 minutes of this game gone, so 70th minute mark, 20 minutes to go, and onto the field comes Rod Thornley to partner Joe O'Neill up front. Peters now for Crawley, looks for Tony Scully on the left and finds him on the left. Scully back to Hiley. Hiley to Peters. Peters holds possession, turns and strikes at goal, but couldn't get anything powerful enough on that occasion, or accurate enough. Stuart Coburn with the kick. Up goes Chalmers, wins the flick on. Rendell feeds back to Judge. Judge now for Crawley, leaves it for Gary Mills. Gary Mills gives it away to Robbie Lawton. Robbie Lawton with the high ball forward, that's not going to find anybody on that occasion. That's Hiley for Crawley. All closed down by Lawton. And Turney was closed down by Tony Scully, and the offside flag's gone up on this side, so Old Thornley caught offside on that occasion. After that flurry of goals in the third and fourth minute, the game has slipped back a little bit into a similar pace to the first half, with neither side getting on top of one another. And now a result now coming up to the final stages, the final quarter of an hour, and an opportunity for either side to win this one. Steve Aspinall launches that one forward to Chalmers, heads back to Warren Payton. Payton inside to Chalmers. Altrincham can't get possession on that one, and Scott Rendell picks up the loose ball and feeds out to Lee Blackburn. Now it's Lee Blackburn on the right for Crawley Town. Stephen Rose is in attendance. Danny Bullman picks up the loose ball, feeds out to Scott Hiley. Hiley to Scully on the left wing. Tony Scully now with the ball for Crawley. Danny Bullman's gone in support, picks up the loose ball, finds Ben Judge on the right. Judge looks to cross to the far post for Peters, but the offside flag's gone up again. Stuart Coburn with the kick. Up goes Woolsey, wins the header, but Robbie Lawton latches onto the loose ball and gets possession for Altrincham. Feeds back to Steve Bushell, who looks for the run of Vallow in on the right. And Crawley hook it clear for a throw-in. Steve Aspinall shaping up to take this one. Looks for Joe O'Neill and finds him. Joe O'Neill trying to turn. Twists and turns with it, under pressure and under too much pressure, and a free kick given away by Crawley. An injured player, I think, looks like Scott Hiley. Crawley physio on to offer some treatment. The fourth official indicating that Crawley Town was to make a substitution. But I think due to the injury to Scott Hiley, that's been put on temporary hold, and the game's going to go on with Crawley at 10 men at the moment. Ben Hamer takes that one well in the air. Maybe a readjustment to the substitution following that injury now, as Scott Hiley has helped to the touchline. So temporary reorganisation for Crawley. Ben Judge now bangs that ball forward. Bosworth with the clearance. And this time Crawley will make a substitution, and We already know that Scott Hiley's gone off, and his replacement is going to be number 12, Jack McLeod. And Jack McLeod has come over to this right-hand side. It looks as if Lee Blackburn has dropped into the left-back role, vacated by Scott Hiley, and then McLeod has come on this side to take Lee Blackburn's place. Up goes Thornley and wins it well. Now McLeod for his first touch for Crawley. Well tackled by Chalmers. Chalmers to Thornley, back to Chalmers. But that ball got under Lewis's foot. He couldn't get it in front of him, and it's run out for a throw in to Crawley Town. Ben Judge now deep in his own half with this throw. Up goes Payton and wins the header, but only able to feed back to Judge, who makes the clearance. Steve Bushell tries to get this ball and does well to keep that one in. Feeds back to Payton. Payton with the cross. Up goes O'Neill. Robbie Lawton tries to get on the end of it. Vallowin did do, and his shot was blocked by Danny Bullman at the expense of a corner kick. So, corner kick to Altrincham. I think it's the first of this half for them. Payton with the corner, and that's fisted out by Hamer. Vallowin with a good effort from the edge of the box, first time. And another injury here this time. I think it's is it Robbie Lawton that's gone down there? No, it's not Robbie Lawton. It's Lewis Chalmers. So Lewis Chalmers making his way to the touchline following that spate of treatment from Andy Osgood. Looks as if he'll be okay to continue once his way back into play. In the meantime, Crawley Town will restart with this goal kick. Scully flicks the ball on, and Lewis Chalmers' way back into play. Blackburn feeds back to Wolsey. Wolsey under pressure from Vallowin, and Vallowin does well to put Wolsey under pressure and wins the throw-in for Altrincham. Robbie Lawton shapes to take that one, but he's going to leave it for Lewis Chalmers, who's jogging across following his re-entry to the play. And Chalmers will no doubt launch this one deep into the penalty area. He does do onto the near post area, but it's cut out by Blackburn on that occasion. Vallowin with the flick on. Vallowin again going for the loose ball. Wins the ball, but is penalised for that challenge. Rather unluckily penalised on that occasion, but Lee Blackburn picks himself up. Vallowin never been lacking in combative skills. Free kick given to Crawley Town. Up goes Monroe. Didn't win that one, but Ryan Peters gets hold of it for Crawley. Joe O'Neill shaping up to win that one and does do. Rod Thornley flicks out to Chalmers. Chalmers again. Feeds out. Does he feed out? No, it's cut out by Blackburn, and Ryan Peters is the willing runner there. Blackburn with the header away. Free kick to Altrincham. Steve Aspinall puts the ball down to take this one. About 15 minutes left for play. Chalmers wins the header. Blackburn with the second ball. Payton now picks up the loose ball and crosses into the far post area, but drifts out for a goal kick. In fact, it's a lot less than 15 minutes to go. Only 8 minutes to go. Stephen Rose with the clearance. Ben Judge with the second ball clearance for Crawley. Stephen Rose again. Joe O'Neill picks up the loose ball. Tries to cut inside, but Judge came across to put that one away into touch. And Lewis Chalmers will get hold of this one again and launch it into the penalty area. Drops it shorter this time. Jack McLeod tried to bring it clear, but only found Stephen Rose. Rose now finds Bushell. Robbie Lawton to Rod Thornley. Rod Thornley tried to shape for a shot, but couldn't turn on the ball, and it's Scully now for Crawley, who clears the ball over the halfway line. Blackburn with the clearance, cut out by Cal Monroe. Scully for Crawley. Back to Blackburn. Blackburn easily cut out by Rose, but not controlled. And Jack McLeod came in and put Rose under pressure and was injured in the process. And Warren Payton sportingly puts the ball into touch so that Jack McLeod can receive some treatment. 5 minutes left of the game now, and Jack McLeod is the man that's down needing medical attention. That injury to Jack McLeod, who's, has to be said, has been gingerly assisted to the touchline. Altrincham have made a substitution, replacing Joe O'Neill with number 16, Peter Thompson. And Peter Thompson had a long spell of injury with Altrincham after joining them in the close season, but now finds the chance in these last few minutes to see if he can find a winner today. It's going to be a throw in to Crawley, and No doubt Ben Judge will feed this one back to Stuart Coburn, and does do. So Stuart Coburn now for Altrincham. Can Altrincham find a winner in these closing stages? Steve Bushell. Lee Blackburn gets hold of that one and feeds out to Tony Scully. Tony Scully now trying to get something going for Crawley. Can't keep that one in play, and a quick throw-in taken by Altrincham. It's Rod Thornley. Comes inside into the area. Scully's back to help out his defenders and make the clearance. Steve Aspinall Robbie Lawton Steve Aspinall puts up the loose ball. Hamish free kick only finds touch. Scott Randall unable to get on the end of it. Following now for Altrincham. Stephen Rose not trusting the pace of that ball to get back to Stuart Coburn, but in turn doesn't give a good clearance, and Randall's picked up the loose ball and finds Peters. Peters into Bullman. Bullman looks for support and finds it with Tony Scully, and Scully makes the cross from the left wing, which could cause Altrincham some pressure here. Gary Mills gets hold of the ball, tries to find support with Jack McLeod. Payton looks to pick up this loose ball and does get on the end of it, and is able to relieve the pressure with that clearance. It's going to be a throw into Crawley Town when we get a replacement ball onto the field. McLeod takes the throw, finds Randall. Randall on the byline. Tried to feed it back to McLeod, but couldn't find anybody there, and it's a throw into Altrincham, which Chalmers takes and finds Thompson. Thompson now looks up and looks to set Altrincham on the attack, but that's a long ball that will only give possession back to Crawley Town. Stephen Rose unlucky there not to be able to make that with his head, but Payton does do. That's Chalmers for Altrincham. Tries to make space for the ball up the left wing, but unluckily can't keep that one in play. So it'll be Ben Judge that will take the throw in for Crawley. Tries to find Randall. Randall flicks on to Peters, cut out by Rose. And Randall with the half shot that was hit more in hope than anything else, I think, at this stage of the game. Man of the match awards being awarded there, and Crawley Town's man of the match today, number 14, the goal scorer Ryan Peters. And for Altrincham, number 11, the left back Warren Payton gets awarded the Altrincham player man of the match. Neither side at this stage wants to give away this second goal, which would surely win it if someone could pop one in now. And the fourth official awards holds up his board to indicate there's going to be 3 minutes of extra time played in this game. So an opportunity now for either side, if they can take this, to take all 3 points as opposed to sharing them at 1-1. Chalmers now for Altrincham. The ball half cleared, and Peters looks to get on the end of this one, and has done. Gets a chance to snatch that winner, and can only find the fresh air of the stand roof. He's done his job today though with a goal, and it'll be a vital point for Crawley Town if they can take that one back to Sussex with them. Stuart Coburn now to restart for Altrincham. Up goes Thompson, well beaten in the air by Boswick. Rose feeds a high ball forward, which Chalmers does well to get on the end of. And Boswick is forced to give a corner away, and a last minute chance now for Altrincham to snatch the points. And Steve Bushell will come across to take this corner on the left. So Bushell with the corner, short to Rob Thornley. Rob Thornley finds Bushell. Bushell with a chance to cross in, and does do. Met on the near post and half cleared. That could have been the winner. It was Robbie Lawton that was on the end of that cross from Bushell, and a fine one-handed save from Van Hamer following a deflection saved a certain goal there. But it's a corner kick to Altrincham again. Steve Bushell again to take this one into the near post area. Again a dangerous corner headed clear. Robbie Lawton now picks up the loose ball. Back to Stephen Rose. Stephen Rose tries to force it in. Valoin gets hold of the ball. Steve Aspinall now with a chance to cross into the area, and does do. Up goes Chalmers and wins the header, but can't direct it into the path of Peter Thompson on that occasion, and Crawley clear. Rose with the headed clearance. Valoin. Robbie Lawton tries to feed that ball to Rod Thornley, but can't do. Carl Monroe out to Lewis Chalmers, whose miscontrol lets him down on that occasion. We've had all but the 3 minutes. And Crawley Town looking to make a very late substitution in the game. Number 14, Ryan Peters is going to be replaced by Scott Marshall. So Ryan Peters, on loan from Brentford, has done his job today. A goal in his first appearance. And Scott Marshall coming on now. It has to be said, more as a time-wasting tactic rather than anything as a positive contribution to this game, but he may yet get the opportunity. Throw into Crawley Town. Ben Judd's ready to take this one when the referee gives him the OK. Judge throws it up the line, McLeod flicks on, but it's only found touch again, and Lewis Chalmers now with the opportunity to throw the ball, throws across to Steve Aspinall. Aspinall's got to get this ball forward quickly, and does do. Up goes Thompson, wins the header in. It's Thornley. Tried to half turn and wait for the ball to come down, and the referee brings proceeding to a close today at Moss Lane. A game that never really set the world on fire, but at the end, Crawley